Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. We just had the peace conference with the Aymeric and Vidofnir when Estinian, or rather Nidhogg, showed up and attacked Vidofnir and declared that he intends to end it for all time. And he will have his revenge and yada yada. You know him. Mr. Chalister, it is well that you are here. You are wanted within. I believe Master Avino wished a word with you. Okay, Avino. We want to save Estinian, right? That was our plan? Ah, Serenia, there you are. Have you a moment? There's something I would fain discuss. I must ask you to recall the events which unfolded at the peace conference, though I dare say you would sooner forget them. My mind returns again and again to the moment when Nidhogg appeared before the crowd in the guise of Estinian. It was a sight to chill the soul, but one which gave me reason to hope that our friend might not be beyond salvation. When you described his fateful transformation in Azazla, I feared him lost forever. But the mere fact that some semblance of his former self endures must surely count for something. Alas, I have no evidence to support this impression. Thus did I turn to Ishtola and Kryl for a more empirical appraisal, and full glad am I that I did. For it would seem they have some observations of their own to share. The ladies have saved us a table at the Forgotten Night. Shall we go? Excellent. Let us not keep our honored colleagues waiting.
We have kept you waiting over long, I fear.
Not to worry, Alphino. We had some rather fine mulled wine to keep us company. Truth be told, you could have delayed your arrival a few moments more.
Gibrion got the spicing just right this time. His latest batch is not only delicious and warming, but soothing to the humours.
Indeed. But 'twas not to soothe our humours that we gathered here.
Ah, no, quite right. The matter of that poor dragoon.
You have discovered something. A means to save him?
Let us not jump to conclusions, shall we? Assess the facts presented, then make an educated analysis, as you were taught.
Not easy.
Pray, cast your mind back to the moment of Estinian's transformation. Do you recall how you described it to us? You spoke of the sudden pangs which racked his body when he took up both of Nidhogg's eyes, and of how his form was twisted thereafter into a shadowy semblance of the great wyrm.
That's correct.
When he appeared at Falcon's Nest, the wyrm's eyes were fused to his mail.
Would that only his armor had been corrupted. Snaking forth from the eyes, I descried dark tendrils which entangled his very being. His ether has been all but smothered.
Then he is lost to us forever?
Alvino, calm down. I know he was your friend, but if you want to save him, you need to calm down.
What did I just say about jumping to conclusions? Y'shtola clearly stated all but smothered. As I later discovered, her impression matched my own. Though Nidhogg's presence filled my mind's eye, beneath his seething aura, I sensed the merest hint of something else. And after listening to Y'shtola's observations, I became more certain of my suspicion that the something else I'd sensed was, in fact, the trace of a different will, submerged in the sea of Nidhogg's rage.
You mean...
Yes, 'Tis like their Testinian spirit yet lingers.
Can we not wrest him from Nidhogg's grasp, then? Tear the eyes from the armor?
We know not if that would serve to separate Wyrm's soul from man's. None have ever attempted such a feat.
Should it offer even the faintest hope of success, then by the gods, I shall be the first to try.
Alphino. By all means, hold fast to your hope, but be mindful of the dangers. Even should you succeed in excising the eyes from the Dragoon's mail, we have no way of knowing if your friend's soul would survive so violent a separation. And that is to say nothing of the possibility that his would-be savior might become Nidhogg's next host.
But what other choice remains to us? Should the opportunity present itself, I will tear those foul orbs from Estinian's armor and trust in the resilience of his soul, even at the risk of mine own.
Ah, I found you at last. A messenger of the Temple Knights came to the manor some few hours past. The Lord Commander humbly requests the company of the Warrior of Light and Master Alphino.
Sir Aymeric would speak with us. Very well, thank you, Anawa.
'Twould seem duty calls. Pray see to yours, and we shall return to ours.
Thank you, Y'shtola, Kryl. Your words have given me hope where there was none. Come then, Sir Aymeric awaits.
Alphino is allowing his feelings for this Dragoon to cloud his thoughts. I worry he may do something rash. Keep an eye on him, would you?
Of course.
They think more of their friends' deliverance than their foes' defeat. But will history commend their fealty or condemn their folly?
We will have to see that, Midgasommer.
The conference held at Falcon's Nest was to be a celebration of the reconciliation twixt man and dragon. But the lingering shade of Nidhogg, clad in the flesh of the Azure Dragoon, did mark the occasion by spilling the blood of his own kind. A timely atrocity to remind the children of Ishgard that the Dragonsong War was far from over. And when fear gave way to fury, the call to arms rang out anew. Death to Nidhogg. Death to Nidhogg.
Okay. Luckily, the congregation is right here. Might Sir Aymeric perchance have received word of a Dravanian advance? Or mayhap they have located the mayhap Nidhogg has been sighted. Come, I would hear what the Lord Commander has to say.
My friends, I thank you for coming.
You have had news of Nidhogg?
Alas not. Our scouts range far and wide, but they have as yet found no trace of the Great Wyrm.
We dispatched an elite unit of dragoons to reconnoiter the churning mists, but even they returned empty-handed.
A pity.
Fear not, Alphino. We shall see the Wyrm again soon enough. His words at Falcon's Nest attest to that. Indeed, he is like to come sooner than we would wish.
I assume Ishgard's defenses are being bolstered as we speak?
With all haste. I mean to call upon every able-bodied warrior at our disposal, from the Knights of the Four Houses to the men and women of the Watch. But I did not summon you to discuss strategy.
What then would you have of us, my lord?
I will speak plain. Now that Nidhogg is possessed of both of his eyes, no mortal force we can muster will repel him. That being the case, we must needs recruit an ally of equal strength.
You speak of Hraesvelgr?
Indeed, he does.
I do. To whom else could we turn?
That he is Nidhogg's equal I do not deny, nor can I name another. But convincing the reclusive creature to do battle with his own brood brother will be... how shall I put this?
It will be no small undertaking, yes. Estinian's report was most particular about Hraesvelgr's unwillingness to involve himself in the affairs of men. But much has changed since your visit to Somal, and if there is even a chance that the dragon may be swayed, I must plead our case. Whatever price the dragon asks of me, I shall pay it. Such was my oath, to defend the people of Ishgard. Come what may, my friends, the battle with Nidhogg will mark the end of my tenure as the acting head of church and state. Will you help me discharge this final duty?
We will, my lord, though I fear our involvement offers no guarantee of success. Come then, we will depart at your leisure.
Thank you. Both of you. The city is yours, First Commander.
My lord, we shall pray for your swift return.
Okay. Let's hope we can convince Hraesvelgr of this. It grieves me to impose upon you in this manner, but you of all people understand the threat we now face. It's no imposition, Sir Aymeric. To Serenia and I, Ishgard is as a second home. After the many battles we have fought and the bonds we have forged, the plight of your nation has become our own. If there's aught that we can do to aid in its salvation, then pray impose all you must. Yeah. Your true friends. Shall we be about our task then? We have no way of knowing when Nidhogg shake will strike, but we must assume that time is not our ally. Indeed, with that in mind, I have taken the liberty of dispatching a messenger to inform Mr. Tataru that you will be escorting me to Zomal. I confess I did not provide the exact details of our destination, as they are yet unknown to me. We will summon Hraesvelgr at Zenith in the Churning Mists. Ere we begin our ascent, however, I think it best we pay a visit to Aymeric Shrine. You seek an advantage in the coming negotiations? I do. I would consult with Nidhogg. I propose this in part out of concern for your condition. Were she to succumb to her wounds, it would have grave consequences for our alliance. That apart, she may be able to provide insight into her sire's current state of mind. Well reasoned. To the Dravanian Forelands, then. One floor up. There's the door. Ah, 'tis the warrior of warriors and her companions. What bringeth you to mine abode? Pray forgive us for disturbing your recuperation, Nidhogg. I hope your wound does not pain you overmuch. Didst thou imagine me close to death? That thrust was deep, but not mortal. I will heal in time. Full glad am I to hear it. You were a guest of honor at our conference, and we failed in our duty of protection. On behalf of Ishgard, I apologize unreservedly. I'm a dragon full grown, and thou fought to protect me, mortal? I was tempered by the fires of battle ere my great-grandsire learned to crawl. My words do remind me of a knight whom I called friend some 1,000 years past. He swore to defend me from harm and hardship. Would that we could return to that era of peace when man and dragon knew such comradeship. Would that our every effort to do so were not undone by ancient rancor. For truth there can be no peace where Nidhogg's shade yet lingereth. That much is plain, yet we lack the strength to banish him. What do we make for Zomal? To beseech the aid of your sire once more. Folly, thou dost as well as I how he will answer. Hraesvelgr's heart remains unchanged then. A pity, but if it is folly to hope, then I'm content to die a fool. As has ever been the way of thy kind. Go then, but be warned. The shape's presence has driven its minion to a frenzy. Thank you, Nidhogg. We shall disturb your rest no longer. Though I expected no better answer from Nidhogg, I take little pleasure from having been proven right. It would seem that our presence at Zenith will be every bit as unwelcome as I'd anticipated. But what is the ire of one great worm to a trio of self-confessed fools such as ourselves? Let us begin our ascent. After you, Master Alvino. Complete that. I had heard tales of a world above the clouds, but never did I dream. One's mind paints a pale picture of its majesty. Few live to see such wonders. I remembered of my first visit to this peak, when Estidian and Izael yet walked at our side. Kupopo? Is it you, Serenia? If it isn't don't tell me you've forgotten my name, Kupo. After all we've been through together. But at least you remember me. You do remember me, don't you, Serenia? It's not Moglin. Moglin is bigger, and it had a crown, so... So, of course I do, Morgan. You seemed a bit hesitant for a moment there, but I'm sure you were just fondly recalling the time we camped near Zenith, right? Kupo? But putting our shared history to one side, what brings you and your friends to Mogham, Kupo? Ah, another audience with old Hraesvelgr. Well, I hope you've brought the horn, Kupo. With the winds as gentle as they are, a good loud toot should reach the great worm's ears easily enough. That's good to hear, Morkan, thank you. We had best press on to Zenith while the winds are in our favor. Now that was unexpected, Kupo. Chieftain Moglin will want to hear about this. I just fly over. Okay, let's try our best to convince the old worm. Dare summon me again, mortals.
Great Hraesvelgr, 'tis not lightly that we beg this audience. Pray hearken to our words, for they concern the future of man and dragon both.
Greetings, Hraesvelgr. I am Aymeric de Burrell, acting ruler of the nation of Ishgard. I am come before you to parley on behalf of my people.
stupidly. Thinkest thou thy purpose unclear to me? Thou art come to beg mine aid in the battle against the shade of my blue brother.
You foresaw mine intent.
I but read that which is writ plain in thine eyes. Would that thou had wit enough to scribe the answer in mine. My beloved Shiva once built a bridge betwixt man and dragon. A bridge which thy treacherous forefathers saw fit to tear down, as thou well knowest.
Lis Nidhogg kasmun ikini. Lis nuan jas an es in. Salen monanesh
Thinkest thou Nidhogg was alone in despairing at the murder of our brute sister? Thinkest thou mine own soul did not cry out for vengeance? Know then that upon that accursed day my heart did wither in my breast, and thy kind become unto me the harbingers of despair. Tis only Shiva's gentle dream that preventeth me from flying at Nidhogg's shoulder. Be grateful that I swore to abjure aggression ere I consumed her. I permit my children to offer or deny the aid as they see fit, to warn thy people of my brute brother's coming, that thou wouldst dare ask more of me, but affirmeth thine incurable arrogance.
We understand that in your despair at man's betrayal, you seek only the refuge of solitude. But despite your protestations of spent faith, do you not still nurture the smallest flame of hope?
Perceivest thou such light in the dusk of mine existence?
I do. If you claim I see falsely, then tell me, why did you consent to bear Hraesvelgr upon your back?
Hraesvelgr, piteous deluded Hraesvelgr, the child did lament her past sins and sought to balance the scales with her remaining days. It was her unquenchable passion, so alike to that of my beloved, which did spur me into flight. For mine own part, I would countenance no longer the hands of evil man to use my brute brother's eye for ill.
So you do distinguish between those who acknowledge and repent their sins and those who perpetuate them. Interesting. It seems to me that you have not, in fact, lost faith in mankind as a whole. Rather, you weigh our respective merits by how we allow the past to influence our future.
Snosk iletlai, Nalosk asisa, Ekmon kid unaen.
Spare me thine idle sophistry. Even aware there a mote of truth in thy reasoning, what of it? Wouldst thou have me slay mine own sibling to save a city of mortals?
Should we suffer ties of blood to bind our hands, then? Nay, if the crime is one of unconscionable evil, we must needs condemn it, even should the transgressor be our closest kin. When my father corrupted himself and his followers with the power of a primal, I beseeched the warrior of light to slay him, an act alike to patricide. That he did not die by my hand matters little. If anything, it heaps greater disgrace upon my name. But had my father not fallen, he would have drawn countless thousands into a holy war of hellish proportions, which I hold the greater crime. Thus did I order his execution, sparing the lives of my people and yours. Alas, your brother Wyrm now prepares to murder those whom I sought to spare. What is more, he has taken my comrade's body for his own. But if I must slay my dearest friend to defeat my direst foe, I will not flinch from my duty.
Sekmon infin, sesk antis ekmon, kin al ud.
Thou wouldst strike down thy friend, and by example of thy righteousness, persuade me to break mine oath and kill my kindred.
Sloskna, dyrkin iles, kolhes na inish, draor in.
Heed me, my child. The servants of Hydaelyn envision a different outcome. They intend salvation, not only for Ishgard, but for the doomed Dragon Slayer as well.
Da Nidhogg, Garjas, Nosk in an, Slisva Holkas, Kain na.
Believest thou this shade to be Nidhogg returned? Is it not merely a manifestation of his vengeance? A shadow cast by thy brute brother's rage? I would not command thee, but ponder well thy cause, lest it lead thee unto greater remorse. Help us, save our companion.
Wan nadran in ale is an wan in an on kinga.
Wow wishes to rescue the dragoon from his fate along with all the rest? I do begin to see why Ysel entrusted her hope unto thee. Thy purpose is pure, but so too is my brood brother's wrath, and 'tis that which lendeth him his all-surpassing might. Hast thou the strength of will to stand against so terrible a shadow, I wonder? It would seem I must put thee and thy companions to the proof.
Sway in Ratatoska this day an. Slosk kin. Skor ich les ilo.
I shall await thee in the ruins wherein Ratatoska once dwelt. Heed well the words of my children, and hasten thee to the place of thy trial. Thank you, Midgard. I believe your words made the difference here. I believe I spied a wyvern landing just outside the palace. It is doubtless one of the children of whom Hraesvelgr spoke. Come, my friends, let us not keep our escort waiting. My broodmates and I will bear you to the place of your trial. Make your preparations. And that we unlock the dungeon Sor Kai. But we will deal with that next time. Until then, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.